Welcome to the Referrals podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Once again, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New You. And we are in the midst of our 7-part series, Rise and Thrive in 25. These are the foundational steps and foundational concepts to truly build your referral-based business on a base of love, generosity, and appreciation. Today, we continue, and today is you getting better as you launch your new year into a new stratosphere and you truly understand what it means and what it takes to build a referral-based business. Enjoy today's episode and rise and thrive in 25.
Back, everybody. It's another episode of the Referrals podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, as always, Michael J. Maher. Hello, sir.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. Hey, what do you want to say? You want to say something?
No. And that's our show. Thank you.
Hey, you guys can get the download for today. Yeah. Well, listen, I want to set it up with this. I was talking to Michael and I said, what's cool is I got you alone now. So I want to go unplugged. I think a lot of people get to see you, the high energy guy that you are on stage or even in the podcast, anywhere. You're always high energy.
Yeah.
But I had this moment when I went to your CRT event in August. You did a happy hour afterwards and you had switched into your tennis shoes and you were just kind of like listening and talking to people. And I glanced across, I saw you from across the room and I was like, that's really cool. I like that side of Michael. Like I don't think people often get to see the chill side of Michael. And so I said, let's do this. We're doing an episode on generosity today.
Yeah.
But let's do it from a place of like you and me just chilling at our houses, having a conversation off the cuff, unplugged about generosity. So that is the setup for what you're about to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate that warm up or that kind of lead into this as well, because, I'm wearing a t-shirt. I just got through working out and I'm, it's like, this is really a peek into, my life. I'm at home. I didn't travel this week, which is very unusual. Just got back from a trip through Florida and ran, this morning, got a good workout in. And then, here I am on the podcast about 30 minutes later. And like I said, at my home office, I've got my whiteboard. This is my element, right? Don't be surprised if Max doesn't just bust in here and give me a big hug or give me a high five or cuss me out. I'm just kidding about that. But but it's real. It's just like let's download, right? Just ask the questions and I don't know about seeing another side of me because I'm kind of like, this is who I am with everything I do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was a different side of you in that room where like and I know this because when I speak, like there's an energy that comes through when you're trying to share a message in a point and lead people and facilitate stuff. But the other side of it is when you get to see just a different side, like, I don't know. I was like, that's cool. Like you were already cool.
Yeah,
but
Michael's not in teacher mode right now. Right. I mean, that's like, we have all these roles and we have, parent is a hat we put on, teacher is a hat we put on, right. Friend is a hat we put on. Right. Yeah. And, I'm not sitting around with my buddies playing poker saying, hey, what's your biggest challenge right now? Right. I'm not saying, hey, what are your goals this year? Right. It's I have the ability to, there's just, you got to be in the role, right? My role in the room at that time was, I'm just a buddy. I'm just a friend.
Right. And I think that's cool because one of the things that's great about video and audio, podcasting is that people really, it's the medium I've had the most feedback from where people I've never met message me on Facebook or email me and say, thank you so much for this. I feel like I know you. Yeah. It's so, it's bizarre, but so cool. And it's just one more.
I think the other thing too is nobody should be expecting me to drop any F-bombs or, drop any cuss words or start, I think the thing about it is the generosity generation is who I am, right? The 7L system is who I am. And quite honestly, I think it's who a lot of people are, right? at our basis, we are really love, generosity, and appreciation, right?
Yep.
At our most basic bottom levels.
But I think one of the things so this is good, because I think this is a good transition into the conversation, because I feel like it's perfect, because sometimes I think we try to dress up our generosity, right? Like we try to it has to look perfect. It has to be a certain way. It's the perfect note. It's the perfect event. It's the perfect whatever. And sometimes generosity unplugged is enough, and it actually is more effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And generosity isn't always tied to a charity, right? Or a nonprofit. Generosity is a lifestyle. Generosity is a mindset. It's you're always in the generosity mindset, which is adding value, right?
Yeah.
And that's the power of this. And so I think that's the big thing with all of this, is that, you're always generous. Generosity is not something you turn on, right? You're always generous. And I think everybody wants to always be generous. It conflicts with some of the other things that the world wants from you.
Well, I'm curious if, I think there is like our default, like I would say, I think my default is I'm a generous person.
Yeah.
But I also think,
right? We all hope so, right?
I hope so. Right. But I also think there are times when I'm not. I'm curious, and we could talk about that if you want, but I'm curious, are you just always generous? Have you always been generous? Like, when are the times you're not generous?
So, I think survival instincts, I would not be generous.
Yeah.
Right. I think I've been on a mountain. I've been in very scary situations where I'm worried about, can I really help myself, let alone help somebody else? You know what I mean? It's really hard to help someone on a mountain when you're really worried about the next step, right?
Wow.
So, but the fact of the matter is I do always think about others, or at least the very most I think about others. I'm always thinking about my wife. I'm always thinking about Max. I'm always thinking about my coaching clients and the people around me. And just like literally, before this call, I referred a business broker to a friend of mine for his business, right? So it's like I heard somebody was needing, and I think that's one of the powers of this mindset. And then generosity is love in action, right? God favors action, right? I do believe prayers have power, but I do believe prayers plus action is 10 times more powerful, right? So generosity is love in action. And it's the taking action that I think taking action on behalf of others is really what is generosity is all about, right? Taking action on behalf of others, knowing that it can help them, right?
I think there is. I love that you're so the analogy of being on a mountain. I don't know if that's maybe that's real life. I don't know, but it works. It's
not an analogy. I've climbed mountains. I've climbed, so it's one of those where it's like, but I've received help, right? I've had a guide. I've received help from the other members to help me climb the mountain or whatever it may be, and so I think it's one of those where, I don't know. Good question.
But I think
never not generous. That's a, I don't know. Right?
I just think, but I do think there's I don't know what you call it, an epidemic. Maybe that's too dramatic, but there is a thing about, there's a lot of people stuck in scarcity.
Yeah.
Where it's survival, right? And to your point about being on the mountain, like it's easier to not be generous when you're in survival.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of people in business, just being an entrepreneur, going into business for yourself can be treacherous in the survival landscape of things. And so it's easy when there's no pressure. Oh yeah, generous, no problem. But when it's like, dude, I'm just trying to figure it out. All of a sudden everything ratchets down and it's harder to be generous. How do we overcome that?
By helping, right? So I think, go back to the mountain example.
Yeah.
So, I'm on my last thread, right? I'm just down to, and I remember that there was somebody that was in worse shape than I was, right? And so I faded back and started walking with him to help him, right? To let him know that misery loves company. Let's misery through this together, right?
Yeah.
And we just started talking. And before you know it, we were progressing through, onto the mountain. And we had already made it to the next camp, And it was, we weren't thinking about how much we were dying. We were thinking, we weren't thinking at all about that, right? We weren't thinking about ourselves at all. That I think that's one big thing, is that so many people get tied up into themselves, right? They compare themselves to others, or they're just thinking about themselves not doing something, or where they're at in life or whatever. And it's like, I have the cure for self-esteem, right? You have low self-esteem. What is self-esteem, right? Self-esteem is how you think about yourself. The cure for low self-esteem is quit thinking about yourself. Think about others. Right? Think about others and start helping others. If you're thinking about and by the way, how do I know that? This was my cure for low self-esteem. This was my cure for low self-image. This was my cure for insecurity, right? So I have discovered that if you're thinking about others all the time, you're not thinking about all your flaws, inadequacies, inconsistencies, the whole 9 yards, right?
Why were you insecure? You were a successful guy. Like you've been successful for a long time.
I think everybody's insecure at some level or another, right? And I think if they say they're not insecure, I would say they're in denial, right? And I think everybody has insecurities. Everybody has a degree of insecurity. It's how much attention you pay to it, right? I mean, everybody is insecure. Everybody. I mean, there's a level of contentment. There's I know millionaires and billionaires who are unhappy, right? And discontented or whatever it may be, and insecure, right? Insecurity is not a money thing, right? Insecurity is just simply a program in your mind that talks about not being enough in some manner or another, right? So I think, and maybe, I'm speaking very much about myself in this case, but this is also from interactions with millions of people that, everybody has certain levels of insecurity, and we just have to realize, everybody has, that person that shows on Facebook is not that real person, right? And the more bravado the tougher somebody acts, the more bravado, the more flash, the more insecure they probably are, right? That's what you really discover as you see out there. And so it's insecurity is human, right? Ego is human. Everybody has an ego, right?
Yeah.
So,
right, sure.
Generosity is a way the problem is we don't know how to funnel our energies, right? So we're like, we're doing activities, but they're not an activity that leads to like a lifestyle, right? We're making calls, but we really don't like it. We're doing this, but the nice thing about generosity is it feels good to you, and it feels good to the person who's the recipient of the generosity, right? And also, let's branch off into, this whole big thing, right? So 7L system is entirely based on love, generosity, and appreciation. And we should do a future podcast on appreciation. I think that'd be fun. So love, right? If you look at love, like love is love is a human being's superpower, right?
Yep.
You have these physical superpowers that you see with the superheroes, right?
Sure.
But there's also this spiritual superpower. I mean, why does Superman stop what he's doing and go save Jane? Is it Jane? Who's the
Tarzan? Lois.
Lois Lane, right?
Lois Lane,
right? Because of love, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those where, that is even more powerful for him than his superpower. He'll do bigger, more powerful things for Lois than he'll do for himself or for anything else with his superpowers.
Yeah.
But what I see in the human element is that a lot of people, what would you say if you saw Superman sitting there with his feet kicked up, watching TV, eating bonbons, right? You'd say, what a waste of potential. What a waste of superpowers. Well, I truly believe it's that way with all humans, especially salespeople and entrepreneurs, business owners, is that they have this superpower that they're not using. Love is the superpower. The things we've done for love, and many of the business owners probably went into that business because they loved whatever it was that product or service was, right? And now they've discovered there's a lot of other things to go with that owning a business and running a business. Right. So it's like we need to tap into what we love to do, right? And so love is the first step. But how do we put our superpower in action? Well, there's two ways: generosity and appreciation, right? So, you see people do the heart, right? Yeah. Well, isn't it interesting that we're using two hands? And if you ever draw a heart, most people draw it like that, and then they draw the other side, right? Yep. Well, the two sides of the heart is generosity and appreciation. Generosity is love in action, right? Generosity is proactive and it's controllable, right? I have control over who and where and what I do for when it comes to generosity. Who I help, who I add value to, where, how I add value, all under my control, right? Appreciation is love in reaction, right? I can't always predict what's going to happen to me, right? I can't predict when a referral is going to come, almost, but I can react to it with appreciation. Right. Yeah. And the thing about appreciation being love and reaction is that we need to appreciate everything, right? Even the bad things, even the good things, all things that happen to us or around us and are happening right now around us, we need to appreciate. That's extremely difficult in some cases, right? You don't get the job that you thought you wanted. A client doesn't pick you, or a potential client doesn't pick you. A seller wants to cancel, whatever. But the thing is we need to appreciate those instances. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I think so. Generosity is love in action, and so the problem with appreciation is that it's reactive, right? We appreciation. How do we, appreciation? Somebody's done something for us, something's happened to us, whatever it may be, right? Yep. But generosity we can do, right? All day long we can help. We don't call like the morning calls, like people that are in sales. Yeah. All of our coaching clients, they do calls in the morning, right? And sometimes they do in the afternoon, but in general, we don't call that lead generation. Right? Because people don't want to call leads, and you don't want to be a lead. I don't want to be a lead, right? No. But we call it generosity generation because we're going to generate generosity. So not only are to generate generosity, we have to go first. Yeah. Right. So we're going to go first and we're going to see how we can help. We're just going to call people to see how we can help, invite them to events and just have a conversation around adding value. Right. And that's the power to it, right? All of this is you wrap around what triggered this, right? Is Proverbs 11:25, right? Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous one shall be a prosperous one. He who refreshes others shall himself be refreshed." Okay.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So here's the thing, right? I always thought I don't have any money. I grew up very poor. Dad was a teacher, mom stayed home, 5 kids, no money, right? Hand-me-downs, food stamps, dirt floor, potbelly stove, the whole 9 yards. And so I always had that thought of, I don't have anything to give. I don't have anything to give. I don't have any, but it's one of those where that Proverbs 11:25 really hit home because it doesn't say, and I always thought, once I become prosperous, I will give, right? If I have, $100,000, I'll give $10,000, right? But I don't have $100,000. I don't even have $10,000, right?
Right.
So, but it says the promise is a generous one shall be a prosperous one. So it starts with generosity, right? And it was just like, oh, that means I need to go first. I need to be generous from where I'm at, right? But if I'm generous, I will end up prosperous. And so that's the generosity cycle. right? That I talk about, the 3 business cycles that I talk about, where it's the cycle of discontent, which is what most people are on. And then you've got the referral cycle, which is the cycle people want to be on. But it's like, okay, you want to be on the referral cycle, you got to get on the generosity cycle. And the generosity cycle is be generous, generosity, right? You add value, you help others. Generosity leads to reciprocity, right? And reciprocity is when you give, people want to give back, right? So they want to give back. We need to teach and train our army that the way to give back is through referrals, right? And the problem is people want to help us, but we don't know they don't know specifically how to help us. If they know specifically how to help us, they can help us. But if they're like, I really would like to help Michael, I'd really like to help Chris, but I have no idea how to help them. They're so dang successful, I could never help them. They're not looking for anything. They're perfect, right?
Right.
But people want to reciprocate. And the answer is referrals. So referrals are going to come in. Well, referrals, the ROI on referrals is amazing. It's incredible, right? Because this is an unpaid sales team that is leading to leads that are leading to business. So when you have a business that is generating a lot of referrals, and quite honestly, isn't that the purpose of a business, is to be referable, right? I mean, if your business isn't referable, you're doing it wrong, right? So that's something to really aspire to. So referrals lead to profitability, your business being profitable. Profitability is your business having money. Well, there are bigger and more amazing things in life, and that's freedom and your family and time and health and a lot of things. And guess what? Profitability leads to more prosperity, right?
Yeah, right.
So prosperity, but it doesn't stop there. It's a cycle. Prosperity leads to more generosity. Generosity leads to more reciprocity. Reciprocity leads to more referrals. Referrals lead to more profitability. Profitability leads to more prosperity. And the power here is that you can start anywhere, but the power is that the prosperity is at a higher, more powerful level the first time through. Right. Well, guess what? The generosity is at a higher and more powerful level, right? You give more and you give better, and then and it's a muscle to be worked, right? And you get better at it. Well, the reciprocity that comes back is bigger and better and more powerful. Well, when the reciprocity, the referrals are better. They're more certain. They are higher priced. They are easier. The referrals are easier, more powerful. And then guess what? The profitability is stronger because it's an easier sales cycle. And so the profitability is stronger. Well, the prosperity is more powerful and more, more powerful. So then and so on and so forth. So it's not a circle, right? It's a cycle. Yeah. And it goes up and up and up and up and up. And that I have been the lucky recipient of that,
Let's get ready for referrals. In the red corner, we have the average agent working by advertising, learning on the fly, no systems, no profit, and no clients. And in the blue corner, we have what could be you, the profitable agent working by referral, loving life and loving their clients. Take your business to the next level and go to www.callwithcoach.com and set up your free referral coaching session. Go now, change your business forever. www.callwithcoach.com.
Isn't this like you have like 30 some distinctions or ways to do generosity? Like
100%. So
but go down that for a second, because I mean, listen, you're you're a sneaky one because you're so good at just like giving others the airtime, giving others the spotlight, right? But I'm putting the spotlight on Catalyst from it because I know that you guys do this type. I've been on this kick lately where somebody said to me years ago that events create inspiration and process creates transformation, right? Events create
Wait, say that again.
Yeah, events create inspiration and process creates transformation, right? So it's the process of getting into the doing of generosity that actually, you can go to an event and hear about generosity and be like, wow, or you could listen to this podcast and be like, yeah, generosity, but then you go back to your life, and if there's no process you're putting yourself into, there's no transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you guys have done with Catalyst and all the other, the other stuff that people can get themselves into and what you've created is the process of it all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
is that
7L system?
right?
Right. 7L system. People come to us from Joel Osteen or Tony Robbins or any of these motivational, inspirational things, right? They go, now they're fired up for life, and now they're fired up to build their business.
Right.
But the problem is they go, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Right. And the 7L system is the what you do next.
Yeah.
Right. You want to build a Christian-based business, 7L is the answer.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to build a really profitable business, 7L is the answer. Right. I mean, 7L is the only business plan I know of where you can make money making money. Right. Yeah. I mean, you can actually zero base your expenses and zero base your marketing and promotion, and even make it a profit center. Imagine your marketing budget being paid for, right, before you even start the year. And then you make more money based on the leads and referrals that the system generates, right?
Yep.
So it's like you literally could make money making money, right?
Yeah.
So one of the ways is sponsor events, right? You have events as part of 7L. You have sponsors who sponsor the event. The event costs you $1,000. The sponsors generate $5,000. You just made $4,000 from that event.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the thing is, and you get 68 referrals from the event.
Right.
And now you're making money, making money. So,
yeah, it's good.
I think that's what I teach in Catalyst. Essentially, is I get them on the 52-week plan, and it's like, all right, this week we need to do this.
Right.
This week we need to do this. When people think of events and they think about the 7L system and they think about the 35 plus strategies that we have, it's overwhelming.
Right.
But when you break them down weekly, it's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to work this week. It only takes 30 minutes or 5 minutes, or some cases 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, so good. And I think if just bring back to the beginning, then, like, all of that, the heart of all of that action, the right love in action is generosity. Like, the heart of that, it's like, you can do calls, but if the call is absent of the heart of it, the lifeblood of it, it's just a call. But if it's a call done out of generosity, it takes a different shape.
So I don't know if I've covered this on the Referrals podcast or not, right? And there are the 7 gifts of generosity. Have I covered the 7 gifts of generosity?
No.
So often we think of generosity in terms of giving money, right? We do. And honestly, sometimes churches have programmed people to feel that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, sure.
And also the world has kind of talked about, wow, he's so generous, when they donate a bunch of money, right? But there's 7 gifts of generosity that we all have, right? Everybody has these 7 gifts of generosity. We have 7 ways to give massive value first to other people. And only one of them is money, right? So the 7 gifts of generosity, the first one is thought, right? It is thought. And just to make this easy, all of them start with the letter T.
All right, nice.
That makes it easier, right?
Yep. Thank you.
So thought. So the first thing is we can think about others, right? We can pray about others, and we can think about others. And when it comes to thought, I'm going to tell you, it goes right back to it as thought plus action. I can think about Jeff when I wanted to refer him today, but I took action on it. The power of a handwritten note is thought plus action. The reason when we get it, it feels so good is because somebody thought about us and they took action along the lines of that thought, right? So thought plus action. And I will tell you, having time to stop and think
about the people around you and just thinking, how can I help them? What can I do for them? What would be cool is a superpower. You're a 1 in a million person if you will schedule that into your time and make it work. If you are in any networking group, if you don't have an hour a week where you just stop and think about the other members of that networking group, then then just get out of the networking group, right? Because you're in it for the take, right? You need to be in it for the give.
You know what I just thought of when you said that was handwritten notes become a mechanism to stop and think about your group. Like I could think about them, but how great to just use the note writing process as the mechanism to put that thought in action. I love that. It's great.
100%. And so thought plus action. Then the second one, the second gift of generosity is talk. Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of talk. You can talk powerfully about your friend, right? About a business partner. You can praise someone, right? And tell them how great the dress looks or how great what they did or how organized they are. You can praise somebody. And I will tell you that's another I'm not talking about white lies, right?
Right.
I'm talking about seeing everyone and finding something to genuinely compliment them on or praise them on, right? Yeah. Genuine praise.
Yeah.
And that also filters into the handwritten notes, right? Is we talk about be specific with your praise as one of the 7 steps to a power note. But talk and talk is a big one, right? Talking positively about another is a superpower. And I'll tell you, it's another underutilized one. And where this really comes through, or it's just like, what, I don't know, what if they don't like it, or what if they don't worry about it. The thing to remember is it's easy to champion a champion. It's easy to champion a champion. And what I mean by that is when, let's say I'm in a group and Carla stands up and says, oh my gosh, Darla is the best. She's the best photographer. She's the best videographer. She has an eye for talent. She is the best. Like Darla is the best. Now, what do I think about Darla, first of all, right? Darla is the one that is being complimented, right? Yeah. What do I think about Darla?
Darla's the best. She's awesome.
Okay. Exactly. So here's the thing. I would consider Darla for photography and videography. Right? What do I think about Carla?
She's amazing. She's so generous. She's thoughtful.
Yeah. And out of the two, which am I more likely to go introduce myself to?
Probably Carla.
Why is that?
It just, if she sees good in others, maybe she sees good in me. It feels comfortable and safe and, like.
Boom. So here's the thing, right? What's interesting is Carla is more attractive than Darla in this case, right? Why? Because Carla is the champion. She's championing another. And when I say it's easy to champion a champion, what I mean is, okay, I see Carla championing Darla. If I build a relationship with Carla, then she may champion me. Now, how do I know that? Well, she's proven that she's the champion. She's proven that she's willing to risk standing up or saying something about another. So talking about another, bragging about another, supporting another is very attractive, and it is easy to champion a champion. The more you champion others, the more people will champion you. Where you don't want to get is championing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is you speak about yourself so much, nobody else has an opportunity to speak about you. The more you talk about yourself, the less others are going to talk about you. And what we really do, our entire business plan is about having others talk about us and talk about our business, right? So talk is powerful. The next one is talent. The next gift of generosity is talent. Now, we all have the talent. Like I have a talent to sell houses. I have a talent to help buyers make good investments. I have the talent to lead people. I have talents. And I get some of those talents I get paid directly on. When I sell a house, I get paid, right? And so, but we also have these other talents that like I have a friend of mine, a guy who is big into yoga, right? Well, he has a yoga talent. So he has actually been giving me some pointers on yoga, which I really need to do because my flexibility needs to improve. So guess what? He is adding value to my life by helping me with a talent of his yoga, right? So Chris, what is another talent of yours besides helping people produce podcasts?
I'm a really good listener.
Good listener. Okay. So very good, right? That's powerful, right? What else? What do your kids come to you to help, or what do your friends, like your friends are like always calling me about advice on blank, right?
I get people. So if I get in a conversation with you and listen to you, I often see what you're trying to accomplish, even though you can't see how to put it together. I just can see the pieces that simplify it for you.
Yeah. So you have a talent of reading people and helping people, right? And that's a very powerful talent. Some people are IT, right?
Right.
You're not necessarily paid to be IT, but you're the guy or the gal who knows that if you hit Control Alt Delete, then everything's better. I'm just kidding. But here's the thing, right?
Don't try this at home.
But yeah, it's like I can't figure this out.
Right.
They go to you and you know the answer, right?
Right.
So talent is another way that we can add value. It is a gift of generation. So the thing is, and I will tell you, it's also an underused and underestimated one is master your talent, right? Don't be a jack of all trades. Be a master of a few, not a master of one, but a master of a few. If you're going to do it really well. You know, I happen to be a really good coach, and I don't mean necessarily just a business coach. Sports coach, right? I'm a really good football coach, basketball coach, baseball coach. People come to me for different suggestions on drills or whatever it may be. And so I can add value to them in coaching sports. So it's one of those where, have 5 to 10 talents that you master. That is one thing I'll tell you, that if you haven't mastered something in your life, it's unfulfilled, right? Find something and master it. Talent. And then the next one is treasure, right? Treasure is a gift of generosity. Donating money can be a great thing. Another thing is that, money can save you a lot of time, right? So an instance is I had a great referral source who was getting into a network marketing program, right? So the thing is this gentleman, I can't pay him. In real estate, we can't pay unlicensed people referral fees, right?
Right.
So here's the thing, right? I with the networking marketing, I said, listen, here's the deal. I'll buy a distributorship or whatever it was. Now I want to tell you that you can tell people I'm in it, but I want you to know I'm a cul-de-sac in the land of network marketing. I'm not going to work this. I'm not going to promote it. But I'm going to give you the distributorship fee because of all the value you've added to my life, right? And if people call me, I will tell them exactly what I just told you, right? So I'm in, and here you go. And hopefully this motivates you to continue building this if you want to. So I use the money as kind of a thank you or kind of a way to give in that scenario, right? The other thing is used money, used treasure. I mean, I use the word treasure on purpose. I don't use the word money because in your house you have things, furniture, blankets, coats that are treasures to another person, right? They don't fit you. They're old to you, but someone else would treasure it. So you can give your treasures, right? Or give what other people would see as treasures. And then we get into the last three. And the last three are very, very powerful and have been the ones that have been a mainstay for me. So the next one is team, right? Team. And team, your team is your people, right? It's the people you know. It's your community. It's the network that you have built. You have this team of people who can provide value. And I will tell you, the nice thing about this is with the right team, you can grow your ability to help to infinity. Like literally nobody would ever have a problem that couldn't be solved through your network. That's solvable, right? Are we going to cure cancer through our network? Probably not. But the thing is people are going to have really unique, hard to solve problems, and we can solve them. I'll give you an example. Is we had somebody who wanted to sell a very old Rolls-Royce Gullwing, right? And you got to realize the market for that is very, very slim, right? Yeah. And the Gullwing was it'd been in a barn, right? It'd been in a storage shed forever. But guess what? We put the word out through our network. Lo and behold, there is a car collector who was looking for a specific car similar to that.
Wow.
And we're talking a high dollar car here, right?
Yeah.
So we put them together, the transaction happens, right?
Wow.
And listen, I didn't do anything except for share what somebody needed, and somebody wanted what they were giving up. So it's like your team, and that is a superpower. Like Tammy Ebright, one of our CRTs, she is really good at team, like connecting people. Connecting people is a skill. It is a talent. It is a gift. It is a gift of generosity. And then the next one is teach. And teach is a powerful gift of generosity. I truly believe everybody should write a book. I believe everybody should write a book, if nothing else, to share their wisdom to their children, right? To share their wisdom, that their life experience. Everybody has something to share, a story to share, and lessons to learn, right? And so it's one of those where teaching, the power of teaching, though, is when you teach, you become a better learner, right? And life is about growth, nothing else. In my opinion, there's no such thing as success or failure. There's only growth, right? We're on a path of growth. Sometimes it feels like a win. Sometimes it feels like a loss. But all in all, they're all wins, right? And we're on this path of growth. So the nice thing about teaching is when you teach another, two people are learning, right? And 1 + 1 = 11 when it comes to teaching. So you become a better learner. And then when you teach, you're still learning. You're learning to teach, and you're learning to explain it in a way. And you have to understand it at a really high level to teach it, right? And you're sharing the wisdom, you're passing it on. And teaching is a very, very powerful gift of generosity. And then the last one is time, right? And this is one of yours, right? And time is a gift of generosity. And early on in your career, you may not have any money, right? You may not have developed your talent a lot, but what you do have is you have time. You can spend time with people, and you can spend time listening to people, and sometimes that's enough, right? And you can spend time organizing a housewarming party, right? You can do the things that time requires. Time is a gift of generosity, and truly time is your most precious asset, one of your most precious assets. So it's one of those where, but it is an asset. It is your time. And those are the 7 gifts of generosity.
Wow.
And the thing I want everybody to kind of intake here is that you are the gift of generosity, right? You are the gift. So many people have these business plans based on, I'm going to give somebody a trinket. I'm going to give somebody a Starbucks card. I'm going to give somebody these items of value. But the thing is they're really not items of value, because the people that receive them don't value them, right? And the problem is that people are the people that are so insecure when they're running these plans. The reason they're insecure is because they're thinking, I don't have any value, so I have to give an item of value. You don't need to give a freaking item of value. You are the value. You are the gift. You are the value that you bring. Now, how do you bring the value? Generosity. using your gifts of generosity. Come to the table with all 7 of your gifts of generosity fully up. And the thing is what's beautiful about this, Chris, is that your gifts are different than my gifts, right? What you're able to, and my gifts have changed over my life, right? I will tell you that the time one, I have really decreased, but the teach and the team, you know, and the talk and the thought, and even the thought has gone down a little bit, but those have gone way up. So you can use your talent, your gifts in different ways as you go through life. But the thing is you are pre-inclined to use one of those first, right?
Yeah, right. I'm just pausing in that because there's so much truth that just came through. I just wanted to like rest and settle on people, right? Like,
yeah, this is me relaxed, right? We're talking about chilling.
I know. Hey, I know,
hey,
man.
Michael, why don't we just chill? Yeah, okay.
I know, right? Yeah. Take it down a notch. That was so good, man. That was, wow. Let's just wrap there because what I want is for people to end the episode and just go be with that, right? It's just what you said at the end there about like, you know, the trinkets.
Put you on the spot, right? I know. Let's do a 1 minute wrap up here, right? Let me put you on the spot. So you've heard the 7 gifts of generosity, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking to someone and they really like to golf, right? But they're not very good at golf, but they enjoy golfing and they want to get better at golfing. How do you help them? What would you do? Like, you know, this is a friend of yours and they're like really interested in golf. They're not very good at it. They really need the help. How would you help them?
I would ask them if they wanted to go to the driving range.
There you go. Right. So here's the thing. What are the options there? Right. The option is you could go to Amazon and buy them a book on golfing. You could set up a lesson with a friend of yours who happens to be a PGA golf trainer, right? You could, if you were really good at golf, you could help them with their game. If you were really good, you could teach them, right? Which is under teach. You could, if you were really wealthy and didn't have the time to go to the driving range, you could buy them a round of golf or buy them one of those coupons where they get discounted golf, right?
Right.
Or you could whatever. So the thing is, but the one you chose is your gift of generosity, is time, right? Isn't that interesting? That you would spend time with them, even though I don't know how, you know, are you a golfer or a good golfer? Yeah.
I played in college.
Okay. So the thing is so yours would actually be time, talent, and teach. Maybe teach. Teach is, you got to be careful with teach, right? They've got to come to you for the lessons, right? What you don't want to be doing is teaching people who don't want to learn from you, right? Right. Like
come on, I'm trying to give you my love in action.
Like your kid, right? You know, your kid does not want you to be a teacher. They just want you to be a dad.
He's a good kid. Let him teach you golf lessons.
Yeah.
SNL.
So it is interesting that you chose that one, right? You chose it. And the thing is that your answer, Chris, is fairly unique, right? If I asked Tammy Ebright, she would have connected them to somebody. If I would have asked, you know, somebody else, they would have thought about it, right? And that kind of thing. It's amazing. Every time I ask the question, the answer is different, but they're all good. That's the beauty of generosity is helping is all good, you know?
Yeah, so good. Well, let's end there, Michael. That's so good.
Okay.
I know we have a special download for you guys. If you go to referralspodcast.com and you click on the gift, there's an image, right? Just click on the gift. And it'll take you to a special gift. So that's it, right? We're talking about gifts and generosity. Like, referralspodcast.com. Click on the gift.
It's a gift of generosity. We're going to give you a gift of generosity.
I mean, that's so appropriate for this episode.
Wow. I love it.
All right.
Wow. What a terrific episode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and you are enjoying this 7-part series on Rise and Thrive in 25. I absolutely love the content and concepts that we are going through to help you have a base of knowledge to build your referral-based business off of. Hey, listen, can you imagine a business based on love, generosity, and appreciation? Can you imagine your life built on a base of love, generosity, and appreciation? And shouldn't your business and your life be aligned? Why would you want to go to work and act like a completely different person? Right? You don't. You want to be in alignment. You want to be in congruence. And guess what? This is what we're teaching. This is what you're learning. If you enjoyed today's episode, first of all, do yourself a favor. If you're on the podcast, then make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you get continuing episodes of Referrals Podcast. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there, hit the bell, let us know what you think, and also make sure you're subscribed so that you get indications and notifications when the next ones come up. Also, while you're here, if you enjoyed what you heard, you want to get more information, I've got a couple of great resources for you. Join gengen.com. Join the generosity generation. We are in the midst of the generosity generation. We have all graduated from the ego era to a more powerful nation called the generosity generation. And if you enjoyed what you're hearing today, you're going to be a great member, and we want to refer you, and we want your referrals. Join gengen.com, joingen.com. And then also, listen, get some help. As you hear the concepts, wouldn't it be great to talk to someone who can listen to you, understand where you're going, hear you, truly hear you, and then help you make it to the next level, help you put in a plan for the next level? Do yourself a favor and go to callwithcoach.com. Callwithcoach.com. Get signed up with one of our strategic coaches. This is 100% a call about you. No sales, no pitch, no obligation, no cost. Crazy, cool, make it happen. So join gengen.com, callwithcoach.com, make it happen. And also, I'll see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast.